What is up, guys? Mrs. Cack is back. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today
we are going to be discussing the Dawning 2019, the new Christmas event just introduced into Destiny 2, and that's why I thought it was appropriate to have the intro done by the person who has the heat so low in the house they're trying to freeze me literally to death. Anyways, in this video, we are going to be going over a bunch of different farming methods for the essence material or currency within this event. Now, the entire purpose of this event is to bake certain candies and cookies and then give them to certain NPCs. But to bake every single one, you will need 15 essence. So you're going to need to get a lot of this material to do most of the Dawning quests and so on. As well, it's required to constantly be giving out those treats and getting packages to get that new Cold Front SMG. So, what are the fastest ways out there to farm for essence? Well, I just want to get this out of the way, but you can AFK farm the forges. I know people are going to do it. I do owe it to you guys to tell you that yes, you can do this. Essentially, if you go into the forges, lower your light as much as possible, or go in with a full fire team so you don't ruin other people's games, please, but it will only last a minute and fail you, and you will get 1 to 2 essence every single minute or so, and then you'll just load back into the activity as you can see in the background gameplay. So if you want to just leave your console or PC on overnight and AFK farm the forges, that is possible. However, if you are a proactive player and if you actually want to make the most of farming, because while this is fine when you would be sleeping, otherwise it's not actually that efficient. You're going to get 1 to 2 essences upon a completion, or a failure I should say, and that means in around 5-ish minutes you're going to get about 5 essence, and there are much more lucrative activities out there. So, let's talk about what to do if you have a group of people helping you out. Well, I would actually say that the fastest way to farm essence in a group is to farm the Strike playlist. This is actually pretty important, and it's something we did discover, is that it's actually going to award you a different amount of essence if you're in the Strike playlist versus if you specifically select a Strike. And that matters quite a bit, because if it didn't do that, the best way would probably to be farm Lake of Shadows over and over again in the EDZ. That Strike can be completed with, a really good team doing speedrunning tactics in like 3 minutes or potentially even less. However, we did try to do this, and it turns out that it's going to award you around 8 essence for a completion. And this is opposed to 16 to 18 essence awarded upon a completion of a Strike playlist strike. And the thing is, if you have a good team, which we did, and as you can see in the background gameplay, if you are just running through these strikes, if you're skipping all of the ads that you can, if you're doing encounters quickly, you can get these strikes down to 6-7 minutes, no problem. And 6 or 7 minutes for 18 essence is pretty much the best rate I've ever seen. However, again, this relies on being in a group. Even just one other competent player with you, I think this would still be the best farming method. But if you're solo and your blueberries are like new light players, no offense, and they're just not using good stuff, you got double primaries being rocked, it's not going to work out, and a 6 or 7 minute strike becomes a 12-minute strike, and then your rate of earning essence goes down the drain. But if you do have some teammates and want to do this farming tactic, what are some strategies and tips to make it go as fast as possible? Well, number 1, skip as much as you can. You don't want to be spending time killing ads that you simply don't need to kill, and you'd be surprised just how often you can go from objective to objective, from door to door in a strike, skipping all of the ads in between. Most strikes have substantial portions that you can skip. So be using stuff to maximize your speed. Pull out your Sparrow whenever possible and zoom past ads. If you have the World Line 0 exotic sword, using that in combination with the Warlock is going to help you skate by enemies super quickly. If you are a Titan, for example, using Bottom Tree Striker, well, you can just, dodge your way past your group of enemies. Again, you're not using that super to kill, you're using it for mobility and survival, and just to get to the end of the strike as quickly as possible and beat it as quickly as possible. Another tip, really pay attention to the daily modifier. Currently, it's Grenadier, so I'm running Bottom Tree Striker with double pulse grenades, and those are unbelievable. I can just chuck both at a boss and it'll be dead in no time. If it's Brawler and I was still on Titan, Peregrine Greaves are going to destroy enemies with melees. If it's Heavyweight, well, that's probably the best possible modifier to have. It's going to make things the fastest, so make sure that you're crafting your build around whatever the daily modifier is. You can have some extremely deadly, especially with Armor 2.0, builds that really synergize with those daily modifiers, and it's going to help you go through much faster. Additionally, one more thing, as soon as you beat the strike and you see the essence pop up, you can simply open your directory and load into another strike playlist strike. You don't have to go to orbit or anything like that, and that's going to shave off, potentially a minute or more, which is going to matter if you're spending a lot of time in this playlist in just getting into the next strike, so you don't have to wait that 30-second gap and then the stats come up and then you wait another 30 seconds before you start loading in. Also, because you are spending most of your time running and speeding through, use weapons that cater to that playstyle. Shotguns, I'm using the tractor cannon, fantastic. Yeah, you can have some people run Izanagis to take down bosses quicker, but they should have some SMGs or something to deal with enemies close range. The last thing you want to be doing is taking your time doming all these enemies with scout rifle shots. It's just not necessary, and it's not fast. And that concludes a bunch of tips if you're farming strikes in a group. So, what's the best thing to farm if you're solo? Well, you want to go into the Crucible, because added again this week is the Scorched playlist, where everyone has Scorch cannons. You only need 50 combined kills to end the game, and the time limit is less than a normal Clash game as well. So in this example in the background gameplay, we run through the Scorch game in just around 5-6-ish minutes if you include matchmaking time. So that is right up there with speedrunning strikes in the strike playlist. However, the reward was 11 essence from this. So it's not as lucrative as the potentially 18 essence that you get from the strike playlist strikes. That being said, 11-12 essence every 6 or potentially 5 minutes if you're chewing through a team is very good. Keep in mind this can last longer, again depending on your blueberries, but it can never last, that long. Not as bad as strikes can certainly be extended with a bad team, because worst case scenario, if your team's terrible, the other team wins easily and you still complete that match very quickly. So, in summary, if you've got 2 other really good teammates, farming the strike playlist is your best bet. If you're solo, or potentially if you have a full squad of 6, then the Scorch playlist is your best bet. Now, if you don't want to do either, heck, if you don't want to play the game, AFK farm forages. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at @RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.